Hello and welcome to Lore Party. I'm Jaden.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm the guy with the greatest faction, Lawerence.
Today we're going to be talking about the factions of Fallout 4, their strengths, their weaknesses, and who we would like to side with when we battle it out.
And why the Railroad would win.
I disagree.
I mean, everybody knows that the Institute is the best.
No one knows that.
I don't think the Institute knows that. Let's hear your story. Why do you think your people are the best then?
So, I'm going to get so much flack for this, but I need to stand with them, with my boys, my man, Preston Garvey, and the Minutemen.
Oh my god, boo.
Hey, they are a proud and storied tradition. The bombs go off, what's the first thing they do? They band together to survive, because they know that you cannot survive in the Wasteland by yourself. You need to team up with your friends. You need to find the tri-corner hats that are everywhere for some reason in Boston. You need to put it on. You need to take that plasma rifle and shoot the nearest person.
You don't need to shoot the nearest person. You just need to walk up to the nearest person in a vault outfit and say that a nearby settlement needs their help.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a group of guys that somehow raided a, Revolutionary War museum, and then they're
cosplayers with guns, Lawerence. How can you not love them?
Because in the world where you have automatic laser weapons, these guys somehow managed to have a laser musket. Like, what the fuck? A laser musket, you have to crank it. Can you imagine a weapon that you have to crank that's not a super soaker?
It always reminds me of that episode of Futurama when they have the positron gliders. You have to go dun 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 dun.
It's literally like a fictional baby toy. Also, okay.
They get better. You get 5 shots when you crank it up eventually.
Oh my god. Okay, listen. My issue with the Minutemen comes from the fact that they're obviously the worst faction because there's only one person left. And there's only one person left because everybody quit and the rest of them were killed.
I disagree with that.
You have to go around and literally convince people to join them by, stopping the raiders.
It's world building, you know? And I don't see your guys' factions dealing with the raiders.
Yeah.
Because my faction dealt with the goddamn Institute.
And my faction just replaced people with robot copies to prevent violence.
Okay, you can probably guess who they're talking about, but let's go. Caleb, who's your crappy faction that no one likes or cares about?
My beautiful faction is the Railroad. They base themselves off of the historical Underground Railroad.
Respect.
And they now fight for synth rights and synth freedom by finding synths that have escaped the Institute and helping them escape the Commonwealth and find identities of their own.
Okay, so here's my question though. And this is gonna sound insensitive.
Yep.
But in a world like the post-apocalyptic world,
I think you had the same thought.
Yes. Who cares about rights?
Exactly.
because you know what? When you blow up everything with a nuke, everyone's automatically on the same level.
You are reset. The caste structure is gone. There is no rich and poor. There is who is alive.
Right. You're either a raider or you're raiding.
So basically, if a nuke goes off outside, Lawerence is immediately hitting me over the head with the nearest object and stealing my stuff.
Yep, I gotta steal all the food and then build a shelter. But hey, I look at it I guess my issue with the Minutemen and the Railroad, which I honestly, come on, you guys are the same.
I disagree.
You guys are two groups that are basically trying to reestablish how the world was beforehand. But I look at it how the world was beforehand is why the world ended up like shit. You need new ideas in this new world. Stuff that's really gonna make a change.
You need stuff that comes from torturing the fuck out of settlers.
Yeah, hey, shoot. You need someone who takes a look at the big picture, someone who is well, what caused this? How can we prevent this from happening again?
Cosplaying as the Terminator.
No, it's cosplaying as people who did the Boston Tea Party. That's how you rebuild society.
No, you take a look at the big picture. Man caused that war. So what do? You create robots to prevent man from doing that shit again. That is why the Institute is the superior faction. Because they didn't go around the Minutemen who are like, oh, let's just help everybody, even though everybody like doesn't trust each other, and they're either like not trusting you or they're trying to
We're
raid
giving
you,
it our best shot, all right?
or like fighting for social justice
Heroes.
in a world where like there's no law and order. The Institute is cool just because it was established by a group of engineers essentially that survived the Great War. But if you look at how the beginning of the game went, it was like a whole political thing. China versus the United States. Nuclear bombs went off. What do you need in this world? Do you need more politicians? No. Do you need, like, whatever Minutemen are going to provide?
Food and blankets, Lawrence.
No.
Food and blankets.
Or do you need someone to fight for your rights when there are actually no established rights? No, I really honestly felt like replacing some of the people that were bad, like the Raiders and just the unsavory folks of the Commonwealth with robots, is probably a good way to clean up the Commonwealth.
Right, but the Institute had the opportunity to like provide resources to everybody else, but they were like, no, it's more fun to just like take little Billy out of his house and put a little Billy robot right there and make him pretend to be little Billy and then stab the family at night.
But if you actually look at the lore of the Institute, in the very beginning, they did create the first generation synths to assist the people of the Commonwealth. And the people of the Commonwealth turned against them. So they did try to provide resources, but it's like when you actually create fully functional robots in a post-apocalyptic society to assist people, and then they turn on you, like, it's probably people that are the issue, especially when it was people that dropped nuclear bombs all over the world.
Listen, Joe Schmo down the street at Diamond City isn't the one who dropped the bomb. He doesn't need to be punished for this.
But Joe...
Give him food and a blanket.
Hey, everybody, like, was rioting about lack of resources, which caused tension, which led to, like, a standoff between two giant countries, which eventually led to billions of people being vaporized.
That's fair. Railroad, how's it going over there?
Yeah. See,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you over my high ground.
I'm ignoring you by stuffing my face with food that the community provided, because we look out for each other, we take care of each other.
but I don't know, because I feel like if the Minutemen were, like, really, like, around back then, and they cared about everybody, then why did all of this stuff happen with the Institute?
Because
Why?
the Institute was hiding away from everybody else and was like, I'm going to wait for the opportune moment to reappear while we rebuild ourselves and we're all purebloods and we are all non-irradiated.
I think what this conversation needs
Yes.
is for us to all come together and come to our common ground, which
That's a great idea. So on 3, let's say our least favorite faction. I'm sure it's going to be all different. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
the Brotherhood of Steel.
The Minutemen.
Oh! He flipped it on me. We had a whole thing bit prepared.
Okay,
Are you a Brotherhood of Steel apologist and an Institute apologist? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Listen, I'll play the devil's advocate here, and I'll actually say the Brotherhood of Steel, while they may have some undesirable traits, I feel like a post-apocalyptic world where you find power armor and you're battling against super mutants armed with nuclear weapons. You need like the kind of thinking that helps you survive. That is the Brotherhood of Steel thinking. Not this whole like unite the Commonwealth, like even though there's only one of us bullshit, or like rights for everybody, even that super mutant that's shooting at me.
Save the synths.
See, like that's not the
Synths are
stuff
people too.
that's not the stuff we should be worried about. You should be worried about preventing war from breaking out again because nuclear technology is still around, and you should be worried about establishing a strong force for justice.
Now,
That's how I describe the Brotherhood.
Okay, now Lawrence.
Strong force for justice.
Strong force for justice. You know what that sounds like, Caleb? That sounds like someone who didn't play any of the Brotherhood of Steel missions.
That sounds like someone
Who read the pamphlets and went, "This is great."
who played BioShock Infinite and thought, "Man, this Comstock guy has some pretty good points."
Oh my god. Well, listen, I just feel that I feel like that if Lawrence personally had
Yes.
the misfortune of being stuck in a post-apocalyptic society, that I would want to think differently about the new world that I'm stuck in.
Lawrence, here's what you're going to be thinking about. You're going to be thinking about, where do I get my next food and my next blanket? Therefore, the Minutemen.
Well, look at it like this. Okay.
Yeah.
what Einstein defined
Oh
insanity.
shit, he's bringing Einstein into this
Yes.
crap.
He defined insanity as doing the same thing over again, hoping for different results. And I feel like that is like these two groups.
Well,
I have a
Professor
follow-up
Oak
question.
once said he's
Okay.
very proud of you.
I have a question for you. How many times have you given that Einstein quote to people, and has it ever actually convinced someone to change their mind?
Never. But it's the
It's
smartest
almost like the
thing I know.
definition of insanity. Interesting, Caleb.
Good counterpoint, but I'm still sticking with my guns on this.
Here's the thing. My first Fallout experience was with Fallout 3, where the Brotherhood of Steel was the thing that Lawerence is talking about, where they were the nice guys, they were the people going there to save the Commonwealth, to the point where they were actually excommunicated from the main Brotherhood of Steel. Elder Lyons was kicked out of the Brotherhood of Steel chapters and was sent to the, when he made it out east, he was like, all right, we're gonna isolate you. And then all of a sudden, 10 years after the events of Fallout 3, they're all like evil Nazis again. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? I thought we handled this. That's because they're all terrible. They're awful people. They're like, anyone who's not in the Brotherhood of Steel deserves to be killed. And you're like, you mean super mutants, right? And they're like, huh? Oh yeah, them too. Varmints and scum. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what? This sounds a lot like the Enclave, who I helped you guys kill last game. And they're like, no, we're completely different. By the way, are you a pureblood? And you're like, excuse me? What does that mean? And they're like, oh yeah, you look pure enough. And I'm like, oh boy.
Like I said, some undesirable traits.
That's their main trait.
but the good there's the good stuff that's sprinkled in there.
Their main companion is, spoiler alert, a synth.
That is true.
And attempts to commit suicide if you don't stop him when he finds out.
He does. And there's a point where like you're right in front of Maxim. I had to like reload this save point like 6 times just to be able to save Dance. Because either Dance tries to kill himself or Maxim tries to kill him in front of you. Or option C, both of them go, yeah, I guess we shouldn't start fighting. Oh, that's weird. I guess, okay, we'll leave now. And I'm like, wait, what just happened?
I had to reload the save 6 times because I kept killing Maxon, and then I'm like, I want to do that again.
Although I will say, they did bring back my favorite aspect of the Brotherhood of Steel, which is Liberty Prime. Liberty Prime makes me so happy anytime that, like, he's literally, Brotherhood of Steel went from my least favorite to my second favorite when all of a sudden they go, hey, we have this secret project to help us fight the Institute. And I was like, oh, what's that? Probably a big bomb or something. They go, we have all these parts from this creature. And I'm like, oh, no. And then democracy is non-negotiable. I'm like, yes!
So
Liberty Prime!
So you like the Brotherhood of Steel?
I like Liberty Prime. I do not like the Brotherhood. I like Liberty Prime because he is great. He is the epitome of the Fallout universe.
Okay, so
I think the Railroad having a boss fight against Liberty Prime was a missed opportunity.
Oh my god, that would have been so much fun. Because you get in, if you side with anybody other than the Brotherhood, you go in there and destroy Liberty Prime before he's built. Like, I would love to fight Liberty Prime in his prime.
So then let me ask you guys this question.
Okay.
Jaden
Yes.
and Caleb,
Yes.
you guys are in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yes,
Yes.
I've already died of dysentery, but go on.
Oh my god. So what are you looking for? Like, you have to start a faction, both of you. Like, what are the qualities of this faction? Because remember, there are raiders around. There are super mutants.
Yep.
And there are robots that can possibly replace you. So do you rule under, like, with an iron fist in order to protect those who follow you? Or are you kind and share and worried about everybody as well? Worried about everyone's well-being, but you don't have the strength to protect them.
Here's the thing that you're forgetting, though, Lawerence, is that people like the Institute and the Brotherhood, they have a nice starting point. They can afford to do all these extra things because they, the Brotherhood started in a bunker, whereas the Institute, they started in their bunker. Whereas, the three of us getting dropped in the middle of nowhere, we're going to be like, help!
Okay, you start in a bunker.
Okay, we start in a bunker?
Yeah, start in a bunker.
Okay, I start in a bunker. I think I still...
Railroad.
Oh my god.
Ignore him.
Hero.
Oh, God. All right, take the high ground, Obi-Wan.
I mean, I just look at it like
I'll take the underground high ground.
Oh, God damn it.
like of course in
Which
real
would be a much better name for the railroad.
Oh my god. So anyways, like it sounds bad in real life, but I'm like, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive. And I feel like of all of the factions, those two kind of get what you gotta do to survive.
I would probably, if I was in this magical scenario you're talking about, I would be Brotherhood of Steel Fallout 3 Brotherhood, where it was protect everyone, kill super mutants, high fives all around. Because that was how it worked back in the good old days of Fallout 3. These were the Brotherhood of Steel. They were the good old boys. And then all of a sudden they were like, I do not like anyone who is slightly irradiated. And I'm like, oh God, no, what happened here? Pure whites only. I'm like, excuse me.
Wait, what? Hold on. All right.
They're like a step away from being the new Nazis, and it's very terrifying.
All right, ignoring the Nazi qualities. I do not support Nazis.
It's a very slippery slope, my friend.
Again, I do not support Nazis.
You know what happens if you take the Brotherhood of Steel and ignore the Nazi qualities? They turn into the Railroad.
I disagree with that. I disagree wholeheartedly. Lawerence is really like, I should have played some Brotherhood quests more.
I think we do have to acknowledge that at the end of the day, we're all right. Because our faction, the faction we chose, is the faction that won the game. And that's the ultimate exploration of what Fallout 4 is which do you personally want to side with?
It's a very nice way of putting it, Caleb. I appreciate that.
Yes, that was very Switzerland of you.
Yeah.
Very neutral.
Very railroad of you.
Yeah, that was very railroad. That was very high ground there.
Yes, the high ground, the underground high ground.
Hey, look, I'm just the guy that has to, the behind-the-scenes hero, the person who has to make the tough decisions and isn't afraid to have to kill to do that.
Hey, I understand that, and I acknowledge that. Meanwhile, I'm over here going,
There's only one of me left.
there's only one of me left. How can I rebuild my glorious friendpire? It's what I call it's a friendly empire, where you're just like, hey, look at you over there. You wanna come to my aid when I shoot up a signal flare? Cool, great.
No.
Here's a friendly hat and a gun that you have to crank.
Absolutely horrible.
Listen, I will say that is the one drawback to the Minutemen is that their guns are absolutely atrocious, but we do get artillery, which is kind of fun.
After you beat a Mirelurk queen.
Yeah, that was hard.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I still say Minutemen is ranked lowest. But that's
All right,
my opinion.
Let's go around the table real quick. So worst to best. Lawerence, let's start off with you.
All factions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gunners don't count, right? Because I like honestly, if I could do anything, I'd be the Gunners because they're the most fun for me. They're just fun guys. You can't play as them, but I wish that was a missed opportunity. I wish you could play as the Gunners.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're siding with either the Minutemen or the Gunners. While you're siding with either the Institute or the Brotherhood of Steel. I want to point out that there is someone at this table who is logically consistent with which faction they like the best.
And it's me. So
in real life, dropped in the middle of nowhere, I would side with the Minutemen 9 times out of 10. But if I'm playing Fallout and they gave me the option to side with the Gunners, come on, they're the coolest faction.
Okay, but hold on. So, the factions that I would list, probably Brotherhood of Steel.
Okay.
Then the Institute.
Okay.
Then High Ground over here, the Railroad.
Yep.
Rusty Railroad, not really doing anything. And
except put railroad spikes in your face.
Then the those guys that pretend like it's the Revolutionary War again. The Minutemen.
The cosplayers.
Right. With their crank action stuff. They gave a stranger power armor instead of claiming it for themselves. They literally share everything, even when they're about to die.
What about you, Caleb?
I mean,
High Ground Railroad.
high ground railroad. I'm sticking to my railroad guns and Mark V railroad armor here. I'm Desdemona and Tinker Tom all the way.
Okay, so obviously Minutemen, and then I guess I gotta
Carrington,
beat
'cause I care a
Obi-Wan
ton.
with the railroad, I guess, and then it goes Brotherhood of Steel, and like I said, and then Institute. But like I said, if this was Fallout 3 Brotherhood, I would be Brotherhood all the way because they were the ones who were they were the Minutemen before the Minutemen. Because they were like, hey, we're going to protect everyone. Also, here's power armor and an awesome gun.
See, that just sounds like being in the Minutemen and why do you think the Brotherhood of Steel had changed? Because they were too much like the Minutemen and they realized that system in a post-apocalyptic world isn't gonna work.
No, it's because Elder Maxim murdered Sarah Lyons, and I'm really mad about that. There's no real proof, but it's heavily hinted at in the lore.
I still think it's just because they probably murdered her because she was too much like the Minutemen.
Ugh.
Death to Minutemen.
If it makes you guys feel any better, I avenged her several times, then reloaded a save and did it again.
Thank you very much, Caleb.
You're welcome.
Your service is greatly appreciated.
The live grenades in his back pocket.
All aboard the railroad.
Chugga chugga.
That's all the time we have. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. Follow us at Twitter, lore_party.
And on Instagram.
You know, guys, I had fun with this.
I had fun with this one too.
Yeah.